What's up, combatants? Love is in the air, or maybe that's just blood. No, that's love. Today I'll be taking a look at the top 10 romances in the Mortal Kombat universe. But before I do, if you like learning more about Mortal Kombat lore and story, then subscribe to my channel MK Temple and click the bell to get notifications every time I post a new video. Now without further ado, let's get it on. Before I get started with the list, I'm going to lay some ground rules. First off, this list will only be comprised of playable Mortal Kombat characters, so you won't see Argus and Delia or Queen Mai and King Gorbak making the cut. Second, this list is of actual romances that are canon or suggested within the Mortal Kombat universe. So don't get offended when the Mileena Scorpion romance doesn't make the list, because it's not going to make the list, because it never was a thing, and it never will be. And lastly, I'm determining the ranking of this list based on the strength of the connection between the couples. Yes, that's couples with a K. So in the back of the list, we'll explore some romances that never blossomed or have failed, and as we move closer to the number 1 spot, we'll look at MK couples who have a stronger bond or connection. Now that that's out of the way, let's get started. A couple that we've never really thought would happen, and in MK lore probably never has, which is why it's at number 10. Kabal, a Black Dragon thug, and Serena, a Netherrealm demon. The relationship was suggested in Kabal's MK11 ending, in which he threw away a life as the Keeper of Time to instead live a life of luxury. Together, side by side, we see Kabal and Serena smiling together with their dog and their children in front of their mansion. Even though this probably isn't canon, it's hard to deny how happy they look here. I mean, just look at how fucking happy they look. When Shao Kahn invaded the realm of Zatara, he brought death and destruction to the Saurian race that inhabited the realm. Eventually, the race would slowly die out. Reptile and Chameleon are the only two known surviving members of the Saurians. Because of this, Chameleon has spent her lifetime trying to find Reptile and restore their race. Reptile's loyalty has always remained with Shao Kahn. Chameleon finally caught up with Reptile and revealed to him how the Emperor was responsible for the genocide of his race. However, this had little effect on Reptile, and because he was under the influence of Shao Kahn, Reptile turned on Chameleon, ending the possibility of a relationship between the two. After the Deadly Alliance partially transferred LeMay's soul into the corpse of one of Onaga's soldiers, LeMay was forever changed. Her alliance still remained with the forces of light, however, her soul was tainted and she felt a power drawing her to the Dragon King. In her non-canon MK Deception ending, she turns on her allies, allowing Onaga the time he needed to merge the Kamidogu and become all-powerful. In return, Onaga transforms LeMay into his queen, and the two rule the one realm side by side. Rico had long served as Shao Kahn's general and believed that it was his fate to eventually become Emperor of Outworld himself. After Kahn's defeat in MK9, Rico began a relationship with Mileena. Unbeknownst to Mileena, Rico was manipulating her in order to gain the throne. He sided with Mileena and her forces during the Outworld Civil War. Blinded by love, Mileena even once told Rico that he was the only person she could trust. Not so long after this, Rain revealed to Mileena that he had overheard that Rico had been conspiring behind her back with Havoc, and planned to betray her. Enraged by this, Mileena set aside her differences with Kotal Kahn and Earthrealm, and together they battled and dismembered Rico. Suddenly, my ex-girlfriends aren't looking as evil as I once thought. We've now crossed the threshold away from the non-canon romances and one-sided relationships into romances where both parties actually care for one another. When Bi-Han was known as Sub-Zero, he entered the depths of the Netherrealm to retrieve the amulet of Shinnok. It was there that he fought the demon known as Serena, and after defeating her, he chose not to take her life. In return, she helped Bi-Han defeat the sorcerer Quan Chi. Serena expressed to Sub-Zero that she desired to escape the Netherrealm with him.
Take me with you. I've waited an eternity to escape.
After sharing a quick moment together, Shinnok shot her in the back with a beam of energy, destroying her human form. Years later, after his death, Bi-Han would become the Wraith Noob Saibot, losing his humanity and presumably any feelings he may have had towards Serena. The two timelines in Mortal Kombat, the original timeline and the timeline from MK9 onward, are very different timelines. Possibly even different universes, but that theory's for another video. In the original timeline, Sindel did not love Shao Kahn. She was forced to be with him and committed suicide because she couldn't bear being his slave queen any longer. After her resurrection and being freed from Kahn's mind control, she fought with the good guys on the side of light, as we have seen in numerous Mortal Kombat storylines after Kahn's invasion. Now in the second timeline, Sindel is indeed evil. This iteration of Sindel killed King Jade herself and chose to serve Shao Kahn. This is the couple that's making my number 5 spot. Sindel feared losing her throne and saw a ruthlessness in Shao Kahn that would be unwarranted by any other realm. She willingly gave up her realm to Shao Kahn for a chance to rule by his side. In taking her as his bride, Kahn gained great power. But do they really love each other? That's debatable. From my perspective, their unity is more of a symbiotic relationship towards one another for their own political agendas and quest for power, and not based on true love. Jackie and Takeda's romance has all the makings of a great relationship. The first time Takeda saw Jackie, she was possessed by blood magic and attempting to kill Takeda. But that didn't stop him from making a pass at her, calling her and Cassie cute. Years later, the two would work together as Special Forces initiates during the MKX timeframe. It's obvious from the beginning that these two share feelings for one another. At one point, Jackie suggests the two go for a walk sometime, before they are rudely interrupted by Kotal Kahn.
Moonlight walk in the woods. Another time, it'd be relaxing.
I wouldn't have pegged you for outdoorsy.
My mother and I lived near a forest a lot like this. Really takes me back.
After we wrap this up, we should go.
At the climax of MKX, the two are seen sitting together, holding hands and smiling. Jackie then suggests a poolside date instead of a walk. Aww.
That moonlight walk. Can it wait?
No walks. Poolside. Umbrella drinks.
Deal.
In some of Jackie's character interactions in MK11, it is revealed that the two are still together and may even be engaged.
You plan to marry my Chujin.
Takeda got smart and put a ring on it.
First, prove you are worthy.
One of the most notorious couples in the Mortal Kombat universe. Johnny and Sonya have been through a lot together. Initially, in the original MK timeline, it was suggested that the two could have hooked up, but this was never actually confirmed. Then, in the MKX timeframe, we all got the confirmation we needed when Cassie Cage, the daughter of the two, was introduced to the franchise. In Mortal Kombat 9, Johnny Cage, still self-absorbed and egotistical, made very aggressive passes at Sonya, and at the time, she was having none of it.
I'm taking you out, I'm taking you out, and I'm taking you out for dinner.
Ugh.
After Shao Kahn's invasion, Johnny and Sonya found themselves as the two last surviving heroes. Johnny matured and joined the Special Forces, and in a battle against Shinnok sacrificed himself for Sonya's well-being.
No!
After he defeated the fallen Elder God, Johnny stayed with Sonya while she healed in Earthrealm's Jinsei chamber, and asked for a date, to which Sonya finally agreed. See kids, sometimes being persistent pays off. Johnny and Sonya celebrated their victory, like adults, as Johnny put it, before going their separate ways to live their own separate lives. 4 months later, Sonya arrived at Johnny's door, telling him she was pregnant. The two married and Cassie was born. But all was far from perfect in the Cage household. Johnny and Sonya would later separate, but it is still revealed that they both care for each other in their own unique ways. While Johnny might still be very much in love with Sonya, Johnny tends to push her buttons, and she gets noticeably annoyed with him very quickly.
I'll come with.
Go get an update on camp security from Colonel Flagg,
Why?
because then you won't be here.
Despite their struggles and inability to get along, Johnny and Sonya are a staple of Mortal Kombat relationships and still care deeply for one another. And that's why I'm ranking them at number 3.
You did a great job with your team, Johnny.
You hear that, Cass? She called me Johnny.
I thought she might.
Jade and Kotal Kahn met while serving Shao Kahn. Jade served as an assassin for the Emperor and Kitana's bodyguard, while Kotal was one of Kahn's generals. The two fell in love, but were separated after Kahn turned on the Aztec and sentenced Kotal to Shang Tsung's flesh pits for experimentation. After Tsung was killed by Kahn in MK9, Kotal managed to break free. While this happened, Jade was killed during Sindel's onslaught and turned into one of Quan Chi's revenants. During Mortal Kombat 11, a time-displaced Jade is transferred to the present, where she and Kotal are reunited and share a kiss long overdue. Out of all the romances in Mortal Kombat, Kotal and Jade might be the most passionate.
And now your call. I'm surprised no woman has claimed your bed and become your queen.
Many have tried.
Yet they failed. Why?
None of them were you.
During the Mortal Kombat 11 storyline, they do have a disagreement where Kotal starts going ham on a bunch of Tarkatan soldiers, and Jade is forced to step in and stop him. This results in Kotal's capture and scheduled execution. With the help of her friends, Jade is able to spring Kotal free, and together they defeat Shao Kahn. A sign of a truly healthy relationship is realizing when you're wrong, which Kotal does and asks for Jade's forgiveness for his hardened heart.
You would have me? Even with my hardened heart?
I know your heart. It can change.
Kotal even gives up his throne to Kitana, Jade's best friend, after realizing she has unified Outworld more than he ever has. I think it's safe to say Jade's got herself a great guy right here.
The throne is yours. You have united Outworld, Kitana Khan.
Liu Kang and Kitana share an incredible bond, but both admirably put their duties before their relationships. While some may argue that this is a sign that they shouldn't be number one, I find this to be the sign of a very healthy relationship. They've been together and in love in both the original and new timelines. In the original timeline, Kitana offered Liu Kang the opportunity to rule at her side in Edenia, but as hard as it was for him, the Shaolin monk respectfully declined, knowing his place was in Earthrealm, protecting that realm.
As heir to the throne of my realm, I offer you the chance to rule at my side, as King of Edenia, forever.
I cannot accept your offer. I belong here on Earth as champion of Mortal Kombat.
In the new timeline, their attraction to each other is first seen at the Mortal Kombat tournament, when Liu Kang defeats her but refuses to finish her.
Do it.
Do what?
Kill me.
Why would I do that?
I came to kill you. I have failed my father, my emperor.
Shao Kahn is your father?
I have disgraced him. You must kill me.
I will not. This encounter never took place. You have disgraced no one. I hope we meet again, under different circumstances.
Kitana stares longingly at Liu Kang before retreating back to Outworld. After being shackled by Shao Kahn, it is Liu Kang who comes to her rescue, and during Khan's invasion, it's Liu who holds Kitana as she gives her last dying breath.
Liu Kang, you were right. I wish we had met under different circumstances.
Kitana!
As Revenants, Liu Kang and Kitana quickly overtook the Netherrealm and ruled for years as its Dark King and Queen, always together side by side. Even after the time-displaced Kitana becomes Khan of Outworld and the time-displaced Liu Kang reaches Fire God status and defeats Kronika, Liu chooses Kitana to assist him in reshaping time. Even though this is their duty to the realms, Liu Kang and Kitana still long for a simple life together, as we see in Liu Kang's arcade ending.
My heart longs for a simpler life. The kind one cannot have being the chosen one, let alone an elder god. What Kitana and I would not give for those simple pleasures. Perhaps in another timeline, they could be ours.
So there you have it. Do you agree or disagree with my list? Sound off in the comments below and be sure to include your own lists or let me know of any romances I may have missed. As always, if you like learning more about Mortal Kombat lore and story, please head on over to my channel MK Temple and subscribe if you haven't already. And hopefully I'll see you in my next video.